Good morning. Welcome once again to Morning Brew with, yes, it's your girl Germaine. And yes, I am about 5 minutes late coming in. And that's because I had to reset up all of my information to go live. So thank you. If you are chiming in, I do apologize. But thank you so much for stopping by for coffee. And today, yes, I had some coffee today. I know I've been trying to cleanse and purge, juicing and kind of detoxing with tea and everything. So today I decided to get my hazelnut coffee with a splash of Starbucks hot chocolate. Yeah, I know. How do you go from cleansing to back to the old things? Okay, doesn't make sense. But here we are. Here we are. And today's brew is going to be about survival mode versus purpose mode. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And so if you are chiming in, hey, just say hi in the comments. Let me know where you are chiming in from. Hey, let me know what you're drinking. I also have my water with me. All right. And another thing, I just watched this thing on Netflix called The Plastic Detox. If you haven't seen that, make sure you watch that on Netflix, right? We don't realize how much plastic is in everything that we use, pretty much everything all around us, and that it gets in our system and it causes more harm than good. So I've been rethinking a lot of things. Detoxing my whole system is pretty much lifestyle changes. How am I really adapting to, feeding my body, my temple, the good things versus, purging out all that negative stuff that's going to take us out of here, it seems like. So, water bottles is another thing. All that plastic molecules, we don't even realize as we're drinking water, we are taking all those impurities in. They don't care about us. It's all about how much money they can make versus what they're feeding us, what we're intaking, and we continue to consume it. So, but that's a whole nother conversation. Let's talk about survival mode. Well, I guess that is a part of survival mode, right? Hmm. But let's talk about survival mode versus purpose mode. All right. So let's see where we are. You know, a lot of people are moving, but not necessarily progressing. Mm, because there's a difference between the two. If you did not know that, there is definitely a difference between the two. So let me just make sure I have all my notes where they need to be because I don't want to miss out on anything. So, hey, if you're chiming in, welcome again to Morning Brew. Sorry for the 5 minute delay, but we're good. We're good. Systems are a go. And we are here and we are talking about survival mode versus survival mode versus purpose mode. Which one are you living in? That's the question. All right. So let's get into it. As I was stating, as you're chiming in, just let me know you're here. Say hi. I understand a lot of times people don't want to come in the comments, and that's okay. That's okay. Long as you're here, hopefully you gain something from what we're discussing, something resonates with you, and you can take it away with you on your daily journey. All right, so let's talk about this. A lot of people are moving, um, but not necessarily progressing. And just know there's a difference between surviving and living on purpose. So survival mode says, I just need to get through today. Do you hear yourself saying that sometime? Oh my gosh, I just need to get through this day. Another day, a lot of pressure, just dealing with a lot of stuff. Oh my gosh, I just need to get through this day. Survival mode. Okay, make a note of that. Purpose mode says, I'm building something beyond today. See the difference? Not just getting through the day. I'm building something beyond today. Two different mindsets, two different lifestyles, two different, outcomes. So, if we're honest, a lot of us have been in survival mode for so long, we don't even recognize it anymore. It's just become a part of our every single day. This is what we do. survive. That's no way to live. And you know what? I'm saying it because, listen, I found myself, been there, done that, sometimes still falling into survival mode. If you're not careful, you'll automatically be in that mode, just grinding, 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 surviving, trying to get. Or are you building? Purpose is building. Survival, think about it. Survival is just let me get through, let me get through, let me get through. Not building. Purpose, build, solid foundation, build for tomorrow, not just get through today, right? All right. So, once I'm going to ask again, are you living on purpose or are you just surviving? I want you to think about that. Are you living on purpose or are you just surviving? Okay. Because those are two, like I said, totally different ways to live. So which one are you doing? So let's get a little more into this. All right. So think about this. Survival mode, this is what it looks like. Survival mode, if that's the way you've been living, not even realizing because it's just become your way of living in survival mode, grinding, trying to get it, day to day, just trying to get through the day. Let me give you some examples of what it may look like. And if any of these apply, then you know that's the mode that you're working in, right? So survival mode looks like constant stress, reacting instead of planning, doing what's necessary, not what's aligned. Is all this sounding familiar? Does any one of those apply to you? Does all three apply to you? That's a clear indication you might be living in survival mode, not purpose mode. So let's get into purpose mode and what that may look like, right? So, purpose mode, think about this: intentional decisions. Intentional decisions. You putting some thought into that. You're thinking about how you want to strategically move, right? Clear direction. Very important. Clear direction. These are purpose mode. This is purpose mode and what that looks like. You see the difference already between the two? Okay. Moving with vision instead of pressure. Now, if those things apply to you, then you know what? Congratulations. I want to say you're moving in purpose mode. But if you're constantly feeling under stress, if you're constantly reacting instead of planning, and doing what's necessary and not what's aligned, then you might be living in survival mode. So that's just a quick comparison that I wanted you to think about. All right. So let's get into this. I want you to think about this. So here's the truth: survival will keep you busy. We're always saying how busy we are. We're so busy. We're so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. That's survival mode. But purpose will move you forward. Survival is about maintenance. Purpose is about momentum. Let me say that again. Survival is about maintenance and purpose is about momentum. Okay, guys. All right. So let's pour a little bit more into our pour into purpose segment, right? So in our pour into purpose segment, I want you to consider these things. Survival protects you, but it can also limit you. Survival protects you, but it can also limit you. It keeps you safe, but it can keep you stuck. You can't grow if you're always just coping with the next thing, coping with the next thing, coping with the next thing. You can't grow like that. All right, so let's pour a little more. Purpose requires intention, not just effort. Purpose requires intention, not just effort. Okay. Hard work isn't enough without direction. Hard work isn't enough without direction. Okay. And alignment creates sustainability. Alignment, sustainability. Alignment, sustainability. All right. Get a little tongue tied there. Okay. Vision gives momentum meaning. It is good to have vision. It is good to be clear about your vision because if you're not, you find that you take on the vision of so many others. Yeah. All right. So let's pour a little more. You have to decide to come out of survival mode. That is a decision you have to make. It may not be easy because if you've been operating like that for so long in survival mode, got to get it busy, 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 busy. Think about once you pause and take a moment, how much time you're really losing on the things that matter. Think about that. Don't allow your life to just be busy. Busy. I'm even conscious now that I'm speaking about this of people will say, I know you're busy. I know you're busy. I don't want to be defined by that. I know you're busy. No, I've been adding structure, more structure to my life. And when I say structure, it's just the things that I know God has me on assignment to do. I just need to be more intentional. Everything is not my assignment. So when people want to make it your assignment, I have to use discernment to know that everything is not my assignment. It will cause me to be redirected. It'll cause me to go in a whole different direction. So I have to be clear in what my vision is. So I don't find myself in survival mode, okay? Just surviving. But I find myself in a place of being intentional with purpose, taking a pause to pour into purpose, right? All right. So let's pour a little more into purpose. So you have to decide to come out of survival if you find that you are stuck there and you've been stuck there and it's become just a part of your everyday routine. I hope this message allows you to see the difference between the two, survival and purpose, because with that, then you can have gain a clear vision of where you want to be and what you don't want to be doing. All right. And so it doesn't happen automatically. It starts with awareness. First, you have to be aware. So I hope this message does bring awareness because you probably never measured it against purpose. You probably never looked at survival versus purpose. You probably just said, I'm in grind mode, beast mode, survival mode. I'm getting it, you know, getting to the money and all that. But I really want you to consider looking at this thing from a different angle, a different preview, a different window. I want you to look at, let me compare the difference. Am I living survival mode or am I living purpose mode? It's for you to decide. You live with you every single day. So I just want to give you some tips to make you to maybe wake up some things in you to say, "Oh my gosh, that's why I'm so stressed out. That's why I feel like I can't get ahead. That's why I feel like, I'm doing the most and I'm just yeah, that's how it feels. Survival mode. It's time to come up out of survival mode. Come on up out of survival mode, right? All right. So, and keep this in mind, right? One, you have to make a decision to decide to come out of survival mode. That's the first step of being aware. Being aware to know that there's more out there. It's not, I want my whole life to feel like I've been just grinding, grinding, grinding and haven't enjoyed life, don't have any balance in my life. Don't even realize that, am I really pouring into purpose or am I living a purposeful life? Your decision. I hope you choose the latter, purpose. Okay. Um, and remember, it doesn't happen automatically. So give yourself some grace through the process. Okay. Don't feel like it has to happen today. You just came into an awareness today that you're living solely in survival mode and haven't even considered purpose mode. So give yourself some grace. Okay. It will happen if you're intentional and if that is really what you want to see happen. Um, and like I said, it starts with awareness, then one intentional shift at a time. Yes, be consistent in that. One intentional shift at a time. Next thing you know, you'll look up and you're in purpose mode. Yeah. Okay. So, what I want to do, I want to bring in our Blacks in Fact. So, let's talk about our Blacks in Fact for
On Black Sin, we honor a pioneer who refused to be grounded. Bessie Coleman was born in Atlanta, Texas, and raised in a hardworking family that taught her resilience early on. She became the first African American woman to earn a pilot's license, chasing a dream many said was impossible. When denied access to flight schools in the United States, she traveled to France to make that dream a reality. She returned as a skilled aviator, performing breathtaking flights and inspiring audiences everywhere she went. See you next time on Black Sin.
that is our Blacks in Fact for the day. I love how it just all aligns with our message. But those facts you can get every single day. Just go over to Blacks. I'm going to actually put some information up on the screen that gives you the opportunity to be able to tap in to Blacks in for yourself and get your Blacks in Fact every single day, even if you miss stopping by Morning Brew with Germaine. All right. So, and also pick up a Blacks in calendar. I'm going to put the website in our comment section so you have the opportunity, yes, to buy your Black Sin calendar if you have not picked it up yet, but also visit the website because there's so much more information over there. But you can also go to the Instagram page, Facebook page for Blacks hyphen in and get all of the dailies and also go back through the archives and grab some of the other ones that you may have missed. Just being able to get some information about who we are as a people, what our accomplishments are, and our contributions to society, to the world. Okay. All right. So let's continue on bringing this to a close. Oh, I feel like this was short today. It doesn't take all that time, right? Right. So but anyway, I just wanted to give you some things to think about today. Am I living in survival mode or am I living in purpose mode? You decide. You know your life. I can't tell you because I'm dealing with my own life, right? All right. So let's look at, all right, let's talk about two questions that I always like to leave you. Two questions in our reflection question. So the first one is, where are you operating from right now? Survival or purpose? I've pretty much been asking that throughout the whole morning brew today. Where are you operating right now? Survival or purpose? Question number two. What's one thing you can shift today to move towards purpose? What is one thing you can shift today to move towards purpose? Hello, writer, White Rabbit 4222 on Instagram. Thank you so much for chiming in Morning Brew today. Thank you for just stopping by saying hello. So today we've been talking about, are you living in survival mode or are you living a purposed life? You decide. And we just really kind of broke that down. So if you have a chance, just make sure you go back in. For anyone that is chiming in late, make sure you just go back and start from the beginning over on YouTube under Morning Brew with Germaine. Okay, Morning Brew with Germaine. Stop by, go into our vault, and guess what? You can actually click on any of the videos that you like. All right, that may pertain to where you are today in your journey, in your life. And once again, is it survival mode or is it purpose mode? So even while you're over there, make sure you click on the notifications. Make sure you join the page, join the community, right? But click on, and hey, if there's something that relates to you, just let me know in the comment section. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, guys, let's bring this into a final sip. Thank you so much for stopping by for coffee and conversation today, or hey, whatever you're drinking, right? So, final sip today. I want to say this. You were created, you were not created just to survive. I want you to know that. You were created to build, to grow, to walk in purpose. The creation is so much bigger than, let me just grind through life. Let me just survive through life. Let me just make it through life. Mm-mm. Tap into self to really figure out purpose and make sure along your journey, listen, the one thing you got to be so careful of, if you're unsure who you are, the vision for your life, the purpose for your life, the direction you should be traveling in, be careful because there's so much out there. The enemy is so busy. He's so busy. He's so cunning and conniving to make you think you're living in God's purpose, and you could be totally living out of God's purpose for your life. Because listen, at the end of the day, God wants all the glory. Yes, all the glory for his creation. He created us, not we ourselves. So, but be careful. Be careful. There are so many things online right now that's just being thrown at you that sounds good. Sounds good. And if you're unsure because you may not have a solid foundation of really the direction, your purpose, and where you need to be heading towards, you will find yourself falling prey to the very thing that will cause you harm in your life. So please, please, the most important thing is gain knowledge, right? But do not make that knowledge your God. Mm-mm. Don't make anything your God. God is a jealous God, let me tell you. So hopefully, I don't know who who your God may be. I don't know. I know who my God is, but listen. Um, I just want you to, on your daily walk, I want you to be careful. I want you to listen. Let's go back to the question of the day: survival mode, purpose mode. Which one are you deciding to live in? All right. And on that note, guys, listen. You know how we sip intentionally. We shift your mindset and start moving with meaning. And I'm gonna leave it there for you today. So whatever you decide, um, have a good day and be safe out there. Okay, because at the end of the day, life is really lifing. It is. People are going through. And so I hope you choose the latter and choose purpose for your life and not just survival mode. You'll find so much more fulfillment, okay, in what God has for you. So have a great day. And listen, we'll be back tomorrow, Morning Brew with Germaine. Bye bye now.